Okay, boys and girls, we're going to get started on Math Message 4.9. All right, and if you are looking at your home links assignment would be home links 115, and your math box assignment would be here at page 126. Okay, our math message is going to be number sentences for areas and rectangles. It's going to kind of continue what we did on Math Message 4.8. Okay, to get us started here, we're going to have a little warm-up, and the warm-up is quick look cards. We're going to look at them a little bit differently since you're at home and we can't see what you recognize. So if I look at this, I should be seeing two groups and 4 in each group, and I would write that as 2 times 4 equals 8. Or you may have seen it as groups of 2. And in this case, you would have 4 groups and 2 in each group, which would give you 8. Okay, our next one is groups of 5. So we have 3 groups of 5, so that would be 3 groups and 5 in each group. 3 times 5 would equal 15. Okay, on our next one, we should be seeing this as 4 groups and 4 in each group. Okay, so we have 4 groups and 4 in each group. 4 times 4 gives me 16. All right, that's all we have for our warm-up today. So let's get started on our math message. All right. First thing that we're going to do is I want you to turn to Math Journal page 124. Okay, and on 124, we are going to find the area of the whole rectangle. All right, so you see this rectangle here, and it has a cloud that is partially covering up the rectangle. So let's look at that. Now remember yesterday we were on lesson 4.8, we talked about a composite unit. So we could look at this and we could say, okay, let's look at this as our composite unit. 2, 3, 4, and we have 5. So that tells me that each one of these going down are going to have 5 in them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm going to have 9 rows, and I'm going to have 5 in each one. So I would write that as 9 times 5. And if we skip count 5 5s, 9 times 5 would equal our 45. Okay, it did not matter about this over here, this part of the cloud that was on the outside. We just wanted to find out what was within that rectangle. All right, each square represents the area of 1 sticker. How many stickers are needed to cover the area of the entire notebook? So if this is our composite, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So each one of these are going to be 8. So each row, there's going to be 8 in each row. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows. Okay, so we will write that as 10 times 8, which equals 80. And if we need to, we can just count each individual square. Okay, on our next one, we're going to have a 6 by 7 rectangle. So if I were going to draw this, I'd need to know my number of rows. And the first one represents our rows, so we're going to have 6 rows. Squares in each row would be 7. Okay, and now we have to figure out our rectangle. So I'm going to have 6 rows. So I'm going to go down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to put 7 in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that gives me my 6 by 7 rectangle. So I could count each individual square to come up with my answer, or I could take my rows, which was 6, times how many's in each row, which was 7, and if I knew what 6 times 7 was, then I figured out, well, if I don't, I could break this apart, and I could do 3 times 7, which is 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 7 more is 21, and then do another 3 times 7, which is 21, and then add those up, which would give me 42. So I can kind of do what's called the break apart rule. So I have 42 square units. And remember, anytime we're looking at area, we have to square our unit. All right, this time we're going to do an 8 by 8. So we have 8 rows, 8 in each row. Okay, so let's go 8 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there is my 8 by 8. Okay, once again, that would make it 8 times 8. And if I didn't know that, I could break it apart and do 4 times 8. Okay, 8 plus 8 is 16, and 16 plus 16 is 32. So 4 times 8. And what I did there, boys and girls, is I kind of broke this down to 2 times 8 and 2 times 8. And that would equal 16 and 16. And that's where I came up with my 16 plus 16. Always looking for a strategy to help me figure out what my answer is and making it easy. So if I add this up, I get 64. You remember the other day on lesson 4.8, we talked about I ate, and I ate till I got sick on the floor. 8 times 8 is 64. All right, I want you to go ahead and turn to Journal 25, and I want you to try it this time. And if you want to hit pause right now, go ahead and hit pause, and then come back when you're ready, and we'll go over this. All right, boys and girls, here it's showing me I have 4 rows and 8 in each row. And we're looking at units because you always want to see what the unit of measurement is. Okay, so this is a 4 by 8, always doing the rows first, a 4 by 8, so my multiplication problem would be 4 times 8, and if I didn't know, I could break this apart to 2 times 8, and 2 times 8 is 16, and 2 times 8 again, because I have to get to that 4, is 16, and if I add those up, I come up with 32 square units. Remember, we have to square those units. And 4 times 8 equals 32. All right, the next one, we have 5 rows right here, and we have 10 units in each one. So this is a 5 by 10 rectangle. All right, and my number sentence would be 5 times 10, and this one's a pretty easy one because we can just skip count by 10s or 5s in this case. So our square units would be 50 square units because I'm doing area. Okay, that one was pretty easy. All right, my next one, we have to figure it out. So let's look at how many rows I have. I have 1, 2, 3 rows, so this side is 3. I have 2 in each row, so that's a 2. So this is a 3 by 2 rectangle. All right, so my number sentence would be 3 times 2. And remember, anytime we multiply by 2, we just double the other factor, which equals 6. So this is an area of 6 square units. Once again, there's my square for area. And number 4. Let's go and check how many rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in each row. So that's a perfect square. All right, so this is a 6 by 6 rectangle. So my multiplication problem would be 6 times 6. And I could break that apart to a 3 times 6, which equals 18. And 3 times 6, which equals 18. Add those up, and I get 36. So I have 36 square units. So 6 times 6 must equal 36. All right, number 5. Okay, this time they didn't give you any of the unit boxes in there. But we know that I have 5 unit boxes going across this way and 4 unit boxes in my rows. So this would be a 4 by 5 rectangle. So my number model would be 4 times 5. And we can skip count by 5, so that makes it pretty easy. So 4 times 5 would give me 20 square units. Okay, so my answer would be 20. Okay, make sure you're squaring those units because we're looking at area, and area is anything inside your boundaries. All right, and number 6, this is the final one. We have 6 rows here, and we have 9 units in each row. So this gives me a 6 by 9 rectangle. All right, so it would be 6 times 9. And I could look at that. Let's break that one apart to 3 times 9, which equals 3 times 9. So 9 plus 9 is 18, and 18 plus 9 would be 27. So let's do that again because we had 6 of them, and that's 27. And my answer would be 54. So 6 times 9 is 54. 54 what? 54 square units because I'm finding area. Okay, boys and girls, this concludes lesson Math Message 4.9.